Morning, all. All right, so I did kind of wait around to see whether or not we're going to have all six games today. We should have all six games today. If there's going to be an announcement, it may come later today. But for right now, it's still a six-game night. Starting at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, the Philadelphia Flyers in against Buffalo. So this is a half an hour later for hockey to start than normal. And Philadelphia, who against Buffalo, they've won 5 out of 6. They're 17, 13, and 4. Buffalo's 6, 23, and 5. And of course, if Buffalo loses tonight, that's 19 in a row. For Couturier, 10 goals, 16 assists, 26 points. He's had a very good season. So has Lawton, under the radar, 7 goals and 10 assists for the Flyers. On the Buffalo side, Taylor Hall, and all the rumors are flying. And you know what's interesting to me is he has 2 goals and 16 assists, and he's been invisible in games. And when I see people talking about trade speculation and what he might be worth and what he might bring to a new team, all I keep thinking is, but he was out of New Jersey. He wasn't playing great in New Jersey. He didn't play fantastic in Arizona. Now he's coming out of Buffalo, where it hasn't been a great fit. There is no guarantee he will immediately become the player that he was or near the player that he was. So it'll be interesting to see if he moves and what he gets back for Buffalo. And Lazar, who quietly is having a solid season in the support role for Buffalo, 4 goals and 4 assists. Then also at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, we've got the Winnipeg Jets at home against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Both teams have won twice in this series, so they're going to meet each other a lot from here. The Toronto Maple Leafs 22, 10, and 3, and Winnipeg 22, 12, and 2. So this is a nice battle between two teams fighting it out to see who's going to be number one in Canada. And of course, Edmonton's still there saying, we're in this running too. So for Toronto, Nylander, 13 goals, 13 assists. Solid season for him. And don't be surprised if he gets one tonight. And Joe Thornton, who after a fast start, we didn't know how long that would last, but in 23 games, he has 3 goals and 9 assists. So the offense hasn't been where it was in the beginning, but he's also spent time on the fourth line, and I mean that's just to be expected now that he's older. On the Winnipeg side, Stastny, 11 goals, 12 assists. It's interesting to me that Stastny was brought in, I think in part to placate Line and have Line kind of buy in, and here's your center, and obviously to replace Little, but it's interesting to me that Stastny has more points and more goals than does Line this year. Logan Stanley, a goal and an assist. He seems to be getting more and more comfortable with his National Hockey League role every single game, and he's been impressive to watch. So I do enjoy his exuberance for the game. Then 2 hours pass before the next game starts, which is the Arizona Coyotes in against the Colorado Avalanche. For Arizona, they are 16, 14, and 5. They're right there. They are close. They are close to being in a playoff spot. They have to beat Colorado to get there. Colorado's 22, 8, and 4. Colorado's won 4 out of 6. So there's only 2 meetings left with Colorado. But if Arizona could win those 2 meetings, makes it a little easier for themselves. Phil Kessel, 14 goals, 12 assists. He's started scoring again. Again, hot and cold season for him. And Jeff Chychrun, excellent season for Chychrun. 9 goals, 13 assists, 22 points. I don't even know if it's arguable that he's the best defenseman. I think that's kind of clear cut at this point, although Oliver Ekman-Larsson is still capable of playing big minutes. Donskoy, 12 goals, 12 assists, has had an amazing run in March. And Makar has started to show that offensive dynamo ability he had in his rookie year, so he's healthy. 3 goals, 19 assists for Makar in the same number of games. 22 points, 22 games. Then at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific, we get the LA Kings in against the Vegas Golden Knights. LA had a very good first 10 minutes against Vegas, and then the other 50 minutes happened. For Vegas, they've won 4 out of 5 with the Kings. We'll be looking to keep that going. For the Kings, that 13, 14, and 6 record, it's not pretty, but again, they're not out of it. With the 24, 8, and 1 record for Vegas, they'll be keeping an eye on what goes on with Colorado as well, because they're fighting it out for first place. Kopitar, 8 goals, 29 assists, 37 points. He's had a great bounce-back season. Carter, 6 goals, 10 assists. He's been very capable, and it will be interesting to see. I know he threatened to retire if they traded him last year. Be interesting to see if he would be on the market this year, if there'd be any takers, if he'd change his mind on that whole retirement if you try to trade me thing. On the Vegas front, Stone, 12 goals, 28 assists for him, 40 points. He's been fantastic this season. And Alex Tuck, who has had 1 goal in his last 10 games, he now has 13 goals, 8 assists, 21 points overall. He's overdue. So keep an eye on him. At 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, we think we get the Canucks at home against the Flames. So Adam Gaudette yesterday tested positive, and he'd been at practice. And so he'd been with the team, and the question then is asked of, okay, so are we going to shut this down? We don't know. Calgary's won 4 out of 6 in these meetings. Both teams are 16, 18, and 3. The real issues, to me, part of it is that we're getting close to that time in the season where, let's say they shut the Canucks down for a week and a half, it's going to get really tough to make up those games because it's affecting teams that just had their schedules completely reworked because of the Montreal shutdown. So we'll see. Again, if it's just Gaudette, if everybody else tests negative, if everything else is clear, then I don't think that they necessarily postpone the game. Lindholm, 9 goals, 22 assists. He seems to be heating up now for Calgary. They need players to heat up. They need that scoring. Bennett, 4 goals and 3 assists. Bennett is either gonna figure this out or he's gonna end up being traded somewhere else. And if Calgary does decide to actually make that move, I think there'll be a lot of takers. For Vancouver, JT Miller, 9 goals, 20 assists for him. He went through the whole positive test thing early in the season. So did Jordy Ben. So that's something that the Canucks have dealt with before. Just that was really before things got started. This is completely different. Bo Horvat, 14 goals, 13 assists, has to be chomping at the bit to get back at it and try to turn the record around. So I'm wearing Canucks just in case we get a game tonight. And the idea that, yeah, they've lost 4 to 6 against Calgary, but maybe they can win Game 7 and, you know. Anyways, we'll see what happens with that one. 10:30 Eastern as well, 7:30 Pacific. We get San Jose at home against Minnesota. And of course, this means that the review will be a little bit later tonight because the games don't end until later, about 10 o'clock my time. So 21, 10, and 2 is the record for the Minnesota Wild. 14, 16, and 4 is the record for San Jose. Both of these teams have won twice in this season series. On the Minnesota front, Fiala's looked pretty good the last couple of weeks. 10 goals, 7 assists. Johansson, when he's been in the lineup, effective. 15 games, 4 goals, 2 assists, 6 points in those 15 games. On the San Jose front, Hurdle, 10 goals, 10 assists. Has been playing very well recently. Carlson had 2 goals in the last game. He now has 4 goals and 9 assists for 13 points. Is this a sign that his offense is waking up? His defensive game has been okay this year, comparatively speaking with last year. Last year's defensive game, I think, was down to his foot speed being an issue. This year it seems to be a little bit better. But hey, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just tap it upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.